In August 1991, Seattle-based group Pearl Jam released their debut album 10. It hit stores just as grunge was exploding across the music scene. Musically, the album set them apart from other grunge bands. Pearl Jam infused classic rock influences and layered their sound with socially conscious lyrics. Unlike the typical grunge formula, they wrote songs that tackled real-world issues rather than focusing solely on personal angst. Following the release, the group embarked on a relentless touring schedule and shot music videos for their singles. Eager to push their image as authentic and not glamorous, the band insisted their music videos be live shot footage of their concerts. They felt grand music videos often distorted what a band was really about. Not to mention, doing it this way captured the intensity of their live reputation, which was a big part of their popularity. But the final reason, it was practical too. As they were focused on touring, filming during shows was simply easier and less disruptive than staging elaborate shoots. As the album sales went up, reviews were mixed. Some praised its emotional depth, others thought it was too polished compared to the rawness of other Seattle bands. Being a new band working in a major studio, some compromises had been inevitable. The label wanted a radio-friendly record, so producer Rick Parosha leaned towards a classic rock sheen rather than the lo-fi grunge aesthetic. The band were not altogether happy at the time, and in later years expressed their dislike of the production, with Eddie Vedder saying he can't even listen to the album because of it. Despite their opinions, and those of grunge purists, that polished sound helped 10 stand out and become a massive success. Ironically, the very thing they disliked about the album helped them break through. Along with touring, MTV played a massive role in pushing them. The music channel were eager to stay relevant and leaned into the grunge trend. The emotional performances, their charisma, Eddie Vedder's presence, all translated perfectly to video. When viewers responded well, MTV kept them in heavy rotation. When 10 finally started to climb the charts, an MTV producer contacted them and offered them a spot on Unplugged. The band accepted straight away. It fit their authentic style, and they also saw it as a chance to strip away the polished production of 10 and present the songs closer to how they originally sounded. At this time, probably the most hurtful attack on the band came not from the music press, but a fellow Seattle band. Kurt Cobain accused them of jumping on the grunge bandwagon and felt their music was too commercial. He even went so far as to say he wished he could erase any association with the band. Probably most hurtful of all, he said they weren't authentic, they were fakes claiming to be underground whose only intention was to make money. It was two things that had set Cobain off. One, the fact that Pearl Jam had signed to a major label within weeks of forming, and two, their inoffensive appeal. Pearl Jam had in fact become the scapegoat for all that was wrong with grunge and Seattle. It probably didn't help much. Sales of 10 caught up with, and then would eventually outsell Nevermind. The band was shocked at these attacks. They publicly respected and were indebted to Nirvana. Cobain's criticisms were in fact hypocritical. He had signed to a major label, had shifted to a commercial polished sound to reach a wider audience, had fought to get a majority share of royalties from the other two Nirvana members. In fact, Nirvana's staged scripted music videos were catered for circulation on MTV, while Pearl Jam's early videos were live concert footage. In May of 1992, rehearsals began for the recording of Unplugged. After finishing their European tour, the group were left with just 3 days to prepare for the set. The critics, who branded them posers, were confident the group wouldn't be able to pull off a minimalist, stripped set in an intimate surrounding. Rehearsals took place at Kaufman Astoria Studios in Queens, New York, the same place the event would be recorded. With the deadline so tight, some of their instruments weren't shipped to New York in time and they were forced to rent. The instruments they received were substandard. Mike McCready's acoustic was so badly constructed he couldn't play lead solos. They made a late night phone call and were able to get better equipment. While they worked with what they had, it was decided with limited time they'd keep the setlist simple. They decided on 7 songs, mostly from 10. The whole time rehearsing, the group were exhausted after, as mentioned, they'd just come off a European tour. The group found it weird playing in a stripped down acoustic format. They were forced to play the songs differently and to look at each song differently. They were all aware the show would be a great opportunity for the band to showcase talents the public didn't believe existed. Eddie Vedder reportedly sat cross-legged during rehearsals, visualising the performance as a conversation rather than a spectacle. The band joked about the lack of time and gear, saying it felt like they were going to play a gig in someone's living room. On the 16th of March, the show for Unplugged began. The band appeared on stage very understated, no timed entrances. They walked on, sat down, and tuned up their gear while the audience sat waiting. Eddie Vedder then said, "All right," before counting in the first song, Oceans.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
They decided to approach it as a loose gig instead of a TV show. They wanted to display their raw talent and avoid spectacle. There was no grand lighting, no candles, just a bare-bones stage. The crowd was small, only about 200 people, mostly industry guests, MTV staff, and a few lucky fans. Eddie Vedder reportedly said he was more relaxed than people assumed because acoustic sets felt natural to him. Oceans went like a warm-up, gently easing the audience in.
Hold on to the thread.
When the song ended, Eddie spoke to the audience for the first time, but only to introduce their next song.
What is this? No, this is State of Love and Trust.
Then they began State of Love and Trust. The energy was picked up during this track.
State of love and trust is all, stay down to pretend.
It now began to feel more like a Pearl Jam concert than an intimate set. The audience even cheered during one section. From that, they went straight into their next song, Alive. Literally, as State and Love and Trust had ended, the audience can still be heard cheering from the previous song. Eddie, at this point, takes off his hat, ruffles his hair, and shouts into the mic. He was now clearly more settled in and relaxed. His voice dipped quietly in parts of the song, experimenting with techniques. Eddie goes through a bunch of emotions during the song, dipping in the last verse. The song's a biographical story of when he, as a teenager, learned his stepfather was not his biological father and his real father was dead.
What you thought was your daddy was nothing but
The band, at this point, had locked in with each other. It was the tightest song so far. Again, without pause, they go straight into the next song, Black. This was the most heartfelt song of the night. It was settled and gentle. Eddie didn't push his vocal delivery. He was subdued but effective. The whole song was more felt than performed. There were minimal theatrics from Eddie. His eyes remained closed for most of the song. The next song, Jeremy, began without any talk from Eddie. It was the most focused performance of the night. When the bass line kicked in, it was instantly recognisable and almost cinematic in effect. Eddie seemed very introspective and personal during the lyrics. Daddy didn't give affection and Mommy didn't care. These lyrics alluding to the lack of warmth from his stepfather and the disconnection from his mother when she remarried.
Daddy didn't give affection, no. Mommy didn't care.
The song being half based on a real-life tragedy about Jeremy Dell, the boy who died by suicide in front of his class. The other half was based on Eddie's sad childhood. Next, they go into the most explosive song of the night, Even Flow. The energy in the room was now electric. It didn't feel like an acoustic show by this point. The band were used to playing this song constantly on tour, so it translated over nicely. Eddie pushed the vocals without shouting and clearly enjoyed the performance. The song finished, Eddie now took off his brown suede jacket for the final song of the show. Eddie then took the mic and appeared to be about to deliver a message to the audience, but then he just counted down the next song, Porch.
I just want to say 1, 2, 3, 4.
The most fast-paced song so far. During the instrumental break, Eddie leaned back and fell from his stool.
All the bills slow by and initiatives are taken up by the middle. There ain't gonna be any middle anymore.
He then got up, lay flat on his stool before jumping back on. Jeff rose from his stool and began playing facing the drum kit. At the same time, Eddie grabbed a marker pen and wrote pro-choice on his arm. It was a political statement supporting abortion. With the instrument break over, Eddie took the mic again, now standing to continue singing. The show ended with Jeff jumping from the stool, the band throwing instruments around, and Eddie taking the mic to address the audience.
Thanks very much. It didn't feel like a TV show at all, actually. Oh, by the way, this was MTV and we were unplugged. And they're really gonna unplug us now, so we'll see you later.
After the release of Unplugged, their fan base doubled. MTV had introduced them to millions who hadn't seen them live. The sales of 10 surged. Eddie Vedder later said the show captured them at a moment of transition, still new, still figuring things out, but determined to stay authentic. The director of the Unplugged taping felt it was such a success because they didn't overthink arrangements. They simply swapped electric guitars for acoustic and kept the energy high. This made the performance stand out among other Unplugged sessions. They basically brought the power from their live shows into an acoustic setting without reinventing the songs. The band, however, were not happy with the quality. They felt it appeared too rushed. They didn't like the rented gear. They didn't like that they hadn't got much time to prepare. As a result, they didn't want it released as an official album. Today, it's considered one of the most powerful Unplugged sets ever, raw, imperfect, and unforgettable. Thank you to everyone who supports the channel, and if you wish to donate, it would be greatly appreciated. Just click the three symbols next to the video, then the thanks icon, and choose however much you wish to donate. Everything donated goes directly back into the channel to make better quality videos. As always, thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next video.